Number 7. Indiana. Indiana is not the kind of state that makes headlines. It is flat, quiet, and easy to overlook. Most people associate it with cornfields and the Indy 500, but something has been growing beneath the surface here, and it is anything but boring. Over the last several years, Indiana has seen a wave of new churches being planted from the ground up. Not massive megachurches with stadium seating, small, neighborhood-level congregations started by regular people who felt a pull towards something bigger than themselves. Fort Wayne and Indianapolis have both seen dozens of these new faith communities launch, many of them led by people in their 20s. That last part matters. Young people were supposed to be the ones walking away. Instead, in Indiana, they are the ones building something new. And Bible colleges across the state have also reported rising enrollment. More students are choosing to study theology and ministry than at any point in recent memory. When the next generation stops leaving and starts leading, that is not a blip. That is the beginning of something much larger. Indiana is proof that revival does not always start with a bang. Sometimes it starts quietly, in small rooms, with small groups of people who decide that enough is enough. Number 6. Colorado. Colorado seems like the last place this story should be told. It is famous for ski resorts, legal marijuana, and some of the most secular cities in the country. If faith was going to make a comeback, Colorado was not exactly at the top of anyone's list, which is exactly what makes this so surprising. Beyond Colorado Springs, which has long been a Christian organizational hub, faith is now spreading into places it has not touched in a long time. Rural Colorado, the farming towns and small mountain communities, has seen church growth that local pastors describe as unlike anything in the last 30 years. People who moved to Colorado to escape structure and tradition are now the ones filling seats on Sunday mornings. Large outdoor worship gatherings have drawn thousands of people across the state. No buildings, no stages, just open land, mountain air, and crowds of people choosing to show up. There is something about standing at the base of a mountain range that makes a person feel small. And when people feel small, they start asking big questions. In Colorado, more and more of those questions are leading people straight back to faith. Number 5, Arizona. Arizona is growing fast. People are pouring in from California, from the Midwest, from all over the country. And along with the population boom has come something that nobody predicted, a spiritual boom to match it. Phoenix has become a launching pad for some of the fastest growing churches in the entire country. But the real action is not in the big buildings. It is in the coffee shops and apartment living rooms and community centers where grassroots faith communities are forming across cities like Tucson and Mesa. Arizona also has a significant Native American spiritual renewal happening. Indigenous communities across the state are reclaiming faith in ways that have not been seen in generations. Reservation churches are growing. Younger members of these communities are leading the charge. And Arizona is one of the most diverse states in the country. It is fast-moving, politically divided, and culturally complex. And yet, faith is cutting across all of those dividing lines and bringing people together. When that happens in a state this complicated, it means the movement is real. Number 4, North Carolina. North Carolina used to be comfortable calling itself part of the Bible Belt. Then, something shifted. Young people flooded into Charlotte and Raleigh, chasing tech jobs and city life, and many of them left their faith behind when they arrived. That chapter is closing. Charlotte has quietly become one of the strongest cities in the country for young adult faith communities. Professionals in their late 20s and early 30s, people who spent years focused entirely on building a career, are now filling church seats and showing up to midweek gatherings. They are not going back because their parents told them to. They are going back because the career and the apartment and the salary did not fill the hole they thought it would. North Carolina's universities are telling a similar story. Campus ministries in the Raleigh-Durham area are reporting some of their strongest growth numbers in decades. College campuses have historically been tough ground for faith. When they start moving in this direction, it signals something bigger is coming. North Carolina was not supposed to be a comeback story. It is becoming one anyway. Number 3, Florida. Florida is loud and chaotic and constantly making headlines for the wrong reasons. Nobody looks at Florida and thinks spiritual revival. But underneath all the noise, that is exactly what has been building for years. South Florida has one of the most diverse populations in the entire country, and that diversity has become a source of incredible spiritual energy. Spanish-speaking congregations are growing at a pace that many other churches only dream about. Haitian, Brazilian, and Caribbean faith communities have brought a passion and intensity of worship that is impossible to ignore, and it is spreading to their neighbors. North Florida, tells a different story but reaches the same conclusion. In the Panhandle and the smaller inland towns, traditional churches that were struggling a decade ago have turned things around completely. Families who drifted away are coming back, often with children who have never been to church before. Those children are now growing up inside a faith community. Florida has always been a place where people come to start fresh. For a growing number of people, starting fresh means starting with faith first. That shift is already reshaping communities across the state. Number 2, Georgia. Georgia almost took the top spot. The only reason it did not is because of what is happening in the number 1 state. But do not let that fool you. What Georgia is experiencing right now is remarkable by any standard. Atlanta has become the center of a Black church renaissance. Historically, Black congregations that have shaped Atlanta's culture for generations are experiencing renewed energy, younger leadership, and a fresh wave of community impact. These churches are not just holding Sunday services, they are running food programs, job training, mental health support, and youth programs that are changing entire neighborhoods. Outside of Atlanta, rural Georgia is experiencing its own quiet movement. Small towns where church pews sat mostly empty a decade ago are now turning people away because there is not enough space. Pastors in these areas say they have not seen anything like it in 30 years. Georgia has deep spiritual roots. Those roots have been feeding something for a long time. What they are producing right now is finally visible, and it is growing faster than anyone expected. Number 1, Tennessee. Tennessee is number 1 on this list, and it is not a close race. Nashville gets attention for its music scene, but behind the entertainment, this city is home to one of the most concentrated collections of Christian ministries, organizations, and churches anywhere on the planet. And they are not sitting still. They are expanding, funding new efforts, and sending resources to communities across the country and around the world. But Nashville is only part of the story. Knoxville, Chattanooga, and Memphis are all reporting significant church growth. Tennessee has also become a top destination for families relocating from other states, many of them choosing Tennessee specifically because of its strong faith culture. They are not just moving for lower taxes, they are moving for community. What makes Tennessee different is that faith here is not something people do once a week and then forget about. It is woven into everyday life. Business owners pray with their staff. Student-led Bible clubs are active in schools. Neighbors know each other because they worship together. Tennessee is not just riding a wave. Tennessee is creating one. And the rest of the country is starting to take notice. Here is what is easy to miss when you look at these 7 states individually. When you step back and look at all of them together, a pattern starts to form. These are not the wealthiest states. They are not the most politically stable. Several of them have been through serious economic hardship, social tension, and community breakdown over the last decade. And yet, those are the exact places where faith is coming back the strongest. That is not a coincidence. Researchers who study religious behavior have noted for years that crisis and spiritual renewal tend to move together. When people lose what they thought would make them happy, they start looking for something that actually will. These 7 states found something, and the data suggests they are not alone. Across the country, in places that have not made this list yet, the same quiet shift is beginning to stir. What happens when it reaches your state is a question that nobody has answered yet.